Salute, salute. It's Ace Boogie here. What's up, Sean G? Long time, no talk, no doubt, man. What's good with your family? So, just wanted to say what's up to everybody. This is Ace. Ace from Ace Corner Talk. Want to give y'all something to build on today. We're gonna get into some good conversation, y'all. Main man Logic, man, he had a good emergency, man. I was on the phone with him. He had an emergency, so he had to cancel out. But everything is hopefully going to be all right. All right? Yeah, so, hey, Logic, I see you in the chat, man. When you're ready to get in, let me know, and I'll make something happen. But I know that emergency came up real quick. But I know you're always supporting and you're always looking in the background. So what's up to you? Today we're going to talk about, are we being conditioned to fight or to flight? And we're going to talk about fear today. And pardon me if I might not be in the chatting, but I'm going to try to do my best to multitask and do both at the same time. All right? So I'm definitely going to try to do that. But it's good to hear from you, Sean G. Good to hear from you. I'm sorry, man, if everybody haven't been seeing me active, man. I got a new job, and it really it's a demanding job, so I'm not able to be live and do like I want. My hours are definitely have switched. I'm on day hours now, and I'm not working nights no more. I'm not in the grocery business no more. So it's a lot going on. I have stepped my game up. This 2018, man, is going to be a great year for me. So I definitely have stepped my game up. No longer am I doing the retail grocery business, and I'm actually have stepped up a notch. So I give thanks to God, you know, and for the move of my life. Never, and this is what I want to talk about. We're going to talk about fear today. Never did I think that I would be in the position that I am now due to fear. We're going to get deep into fear. So the fear that I had stopped me from moving up when I knew I could do the position that I was already in, but which would have put me over 50,000 a year, probably like maybe between 65 to 70,000 a year. But the fear kept me from moving up. And with that being said, you know, by me having the fear of moving up to that next level on the job, even when it was offered to me, 5 times I turned it down because of the fear that I had. And I know y'all probably saying, well, what could the fear have been? Well, I could say this. Due to my attitude, due to how I was at that particular time, it would have meant that I would have been directly in the line of fire of corporate people, management, upper management. Like, I would have been in the line of fire, and everything would have been totally in my hands of a corporation in the grocery business. I had 5 times this position was offered to me, so I turned it down because I knew my attitude, how I wasn't taking stuff. You wasn't going to talk to me any kind of way, and that's just how it was with me. And you know, through the years, my attitude have changed because I know, okay, man, I can't be doing this. I got family. I got to feed my family. So, you know, I can't afford to lose my job. So that kind of like switched the narrative for me. But with that being said, it still kept me at a fear because I was like, I just don't want to deal with that type of stress. But now here it is. Totally different profession, and I'm doing what I would have been doing in that position in the grocery business, but just on a different scale. You know, I'll be doing managing accounting. I'll be for $1 billion corporation now. I'll be having to do accounting work and, you know, keeping things on the books, ordering, keeping stock, overstock, backstock. Like it's a totally different profession. So, I think now I'm learning how to get more comfortable with how I move in life now. You know, the fear thing is not a factor anymore because now I know, since I have switched my profession, I've been doing it now almost 2 weeks, and it's now I'm comfortable. Now I have the confidence. Like, it's a breeze. Like, I can do this. And, you know, I was scared, and I'm thinking to myself and beating myself up. Like, why was I so fearful to move up when I had the talent to do it? Everything in me said no, but I had all of the ability to do it. So why didn't I move up? Money wasn't even enough, wasn't even a big of a factor for me to move up. It didn't even matter about how much money I could have been making, and could have been. It just was the fear of me moving up, the fear of me being in the line of fire, the fear that I will mess up, destroy it. It was so much. I didn't have the confidence in that area. But now that I have switched professions and actually moved up to where I thought I couldn't be, I'm beating myself up inside. Like, why didn't I do this a long time ago and move up in life? And I actually am doing it. What's up, everybody? Impressed was good. So I feel pretty decent with that. But we're going to talk about fear. And we're going to get into some things about talking about, like, the government. I mean, is it a fight or flight thing? Is the government in corporations, are they trying to promote so much fear in us that it either cripples us or paralyzes us from making any moves? And I'll talk about it like in this manner. Okay, the government. Are they trying to promote so much fear in us that we will not move forward and fight back when there's something opposing us? Or we will not come together as a group or a collective and say, no, we will not agree with the hike of the taxes, or we will not agree with this law you're trying to put in a place that's not going to benefit us. So these are the things that fear stops us from doing. So I'm gonna give you the definition of what fear is. Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or that is a threat. Right? and Sean G, you're definitely right. Sean G said they are trying to zombify the public. And if you ever want to see how the government is moving now and how much fear they're trying to promote in the masses, if 9/11 didn't actually wake your eyes up or give you a notion of that they can be that dangerous, start looking at the events that are taking place now. Why are the government trying to promote so much fear into the masses of the people? Why is the fear thing, why are they using that as a tactic? And I'm going to tell you, because promoting fear in somebody is one of the greatest tactics to defeat a person. Because once a person gets fear in them, they're defeated. Okay? Okay? Once they get fear in the heart, in their mind, they're defeated. It's nothing you can do. Once that fear is there, it cripples the individual. They're already defeated. I'm going to give you a prime example. I was at a car dealership, and I filled out one of those, you know how you can fill out the little box right there and it tell you if you win a trip or car or whatever. So here I go. I said, I just fill the thing out. I wasn't even thinking I would win. I actually won in that, you know, filling out the thing. I won a trip and I won a cruise. And the cruise was for 7 days, this, that, and the third. The only thing I had to pay for was the actual getting my port or whatever the case was, or that little thing. But I did not go on the cruise. The reason why, because I was scared of large bodies of water. You couldn't get me to go on a boat. You couldn't get me to do any of the sort because I was scared. I had the fear. So I let the ticket sit there, and it would have my name. Everything was addressed to me, and it was for me and another person. So, you know, of course, my wife at the time, we would have went. But I was adamant against going on a trip in the ocean, in the water. This past September, I actually went on a cruise to the Dominican Republic and the Grand Turks and Caicos. First time ever on a boat, cruise, or whatever you want to call it. I got over that fear. You see what I'm saying? And believe me, looking at that water from up high or whatever and looking down into, I was scared to death. I mean, I went through all kind of emotions because, what's up, Nehemiah Israel? Good, peace to you, bro. I went through all kind of emotions looking at that large body of water. But I had to get over it. If I wanted to enjoy myself, I had to get over it. But think about it. Fear. Fear is the easiest way to control somebody. People use it in relationships. They use it on the job. They use it in the government. Fear is the easiest way to keep control of any one individual. You understand? You know, on your job, they'll use that, I'm going to fire you. If you do this or you do that, you know, your job is in jeopardy. So they'll promote fear in the manner of threatening your job, the job security. Oh, yeah, you're going to get fired right now because, you know, you're doing this or you're doing that or you ain't do this right or you only got a certain amount of time to get this right, and if you don't, you're fired. So they'll promote fear in you to get you to do what they want you to do. Even people use it in relationships. You know, some females, some men, if you don't marry me now, I'm going to leave you. So you get scared and say, well, man, I got to marry her now because she's going to leave me. And you don't want to get married and she wants to. Promoting fear in you. And I'm just using that as an example. Nobody start getting crazy just because I use that. And it could be a he or she, whatever. But it's used in relationships. It's used on a job. The government uses it. You know, don't falsify information or you're going to prison for 9 years. You know, don't do X, Y, Z or the IRS is going to come get you or whatever. It's so much that people use fear to do into controlling you. It has you crippled. Now think about this. Think about this. We today, it's so much fear out there. What's up? What was that? What's good? It's so much fear that is controlling us. Half of the time, we're not even making sound decisions because we're so on edge. You feel me? We're so on edge because we don't understand from one end to the other, if we make this move or make this mistake, that there's going to be great consequences. Think about that. Think about how today, how we actually move in this life. If we didn't have as much fear to worry about, would we be moving more curiously? Would we be moving more strategically? Now we can't do this type of stuff because we're fearful of everything. The government, all of these entities, all of these different things out here have made it so hard for the average person to move freely, to move about. They made it so hard for us to get along in life because we're so fearful. People are in their neighborhood scared that they're going to get killed. They're going to get shot. Okay, we know there's danger out here. Okay, we know that. We know that yes, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, things can happen. We do know that. But have you ever noticed that the media is pushing one side of the agenda? They're showing one side of the agenda that it's this way, but They don't show the other side. Okay, they're only promoting that you're going to get killed, or look at this murder, look at that murder, look at this, look at that. I mean, they're promoting so much fear on the news that the average person wants to move out of the city. The average person wants to they want to stay locked up in the house. As soon as 7 o'clock hit, they're in the house locked up. They don't want to go nowhere. Like, it's so much fear being promoted that you actually are living in a secluded life, not wanting to enjoy anything in life because of fear. Okay? Look, fear is an emotional response. It's an emotional response. It's introduce and perceive threat. When you feel threatened, if somebody threatens you, you will perceive it as in a manner of fear. Some people. And that's one of the definitions. Fear causes a change in your brain, right? Or in your organ, that it will produce a change in your behavior. So in your organs, in your brain, in your mind, and whatever, all of the chemical reactions in your brain will cause that and promote the fear aspect of it. So you'll begin to have fear in you due to the circumstances at hand. So fear will cause a change in how you respond. Because chemically, it produces a chemical that lets it off in your body that promotes fear. So, you know, when somebody gets crippled or somebody, you know, you ever seen, I know some people who are scared of spiders, okay? Think about it, spiders. Soon they see a spider, oh, they won't move until that spider decides it's going to do what it's going to do. Like, oh, and they just stand right, they just stand in that position and won't move until they can figure out what to do or whether that fear or that spider's going to go. That's how much fear is damaging. That's how much fear can stop a person. Think about this, dogs. When people see a vicious dog, some people take off run. I advise you not to do that, because the first thing that happens, a dog is going to chase you. But when you see a dog or pit bull or something that's a massive dog, you're going to stay right there and you're going to be crippleized. You're not going to want to move. You're not going to want to do anything because you have entered into the realm of fear. And now that that chemical has been released in your body, when you have gotten so fearful, then it's no way that you're going to respond in a normal manner. You understand? Fear can lead us to hide. It can lead us to run away. It can lead us to freeze. Fear may arise from any circumstance or condition. Fear is also promoted by threatening. Fear can be promoted by violence. See, when people start like Al-Qaeda or ISIS or any of the radical groups that are from the Middle Eastern part of the world, when they try to promote the fear the way they do, it's to send a message to control you. Right? They send that message. So they're cutting off the heads, chopping your body up, shooting you 1,000 times, blowing your head off, and all that stuff is to promote fear. Who wants to go over to the Middle East and be in any of those countries when you know they're killing people like that? They want to keep you out so they can control their land, control their surroundings. They want the United States to stay out of their business and out of their lands. So what do? They start doing all of the hideous and horrendous things that they do to control the masses. You understand what I'm saying? They're controlling the masses with the fear. So they got people heads getting chopped up, people faces getting blown off. And the first thing you say is, man, I'll never go over there. Why would I want to go to the Middle East to vacation or to do anything? What's over there? Nothing but killers and hideous people, cannibalism and all this other stuff. Why would I want to go there? It's to control you. It's to put fear in you. You feel me? When they used to do warfare, in order to promote fear into the opposing or the opposition that was coming against them, what they did was they used to chop the heads off, put them on stakes, and sit them out. So that way, when people came to attack them, they seen that and ran away. They got scared. Africans used to do it. Vietnamese used to do it. When they used to have the back in Vietnam, when they had the Vietnam War, they used to do that. They used to cut the heads off, put the heads on the stake, and put it out. So that way, if you came and you seen somebody's head, all of a sudden you breaking. So this was an old tactic that has been used from generations and centuries, been passed down. And when you see people now today, they're using these tactics, but now they're getting more crafty with how they are controlling us through fear. A fear response arises from the perception of danger, leading to confrontation with or an escape from avoiding the threat. And this is known as the fight or flight response. Irrational fear is called phobia. Irrational fear is called a phobia. You remember arachnophobia? The fear of spiders? Remember that movie came out? And all the spiders and all these big giant spiders came out and everybody was all, scared of it. Everybody after that movie, I believe, got scared of, became afraid of spiders. Tenzin Suzu, what's the name again? Yeah. He was, I know who that was because I actually read about him. Impressed. Yeah, he definitely was he crafted the art of war. And his skill, like how he composed and talked about it, oh man, yeah, he was a great warrior. And fear is definitely one of the tactics they use. In Nehemiah Israel, I won't disagree with you, but you got to give me an example where fear is healthy in certain situations. Because when I think about fear, unless I don't know how it can be. I mean, I don't know. You got to give me an example, Nehemiah, because when I think about fear, there's only a couple of ways that it comes into play. When I think about fear, I don't know if it can be used healthily. I mean, because anytime fear comes in about, it's usually associated with or tied with control. Because the only time somebody uses fear in any way is to control. I don't think there's any positive in that because, oh, don't be a fool kind of thing. I got you. I got you. All right. If you put it in that manner, yes, I agree with you. And I think that when we start to realize how the government plays through our emotions and our fears, we'll realize that the entity and the makeup of our government, the makeup of the whole entire judicial system and how they are made up and what they do to control you and how they compose what they do. You got to realize this. When things come about, when things begin to happen, and we begin to see our life transform from year to year. See, now the taxes are going up, right? You see what Donald Trump is doing? Now they're going to start taxing us with a federal tax, and only people that will not be touched is the people who have money. So anybody that's making less than $70,000 a year is going to get hit with a heavy tax. So what does that do? That puts fear in those who are making less than $70,000 a year. Now, they're already taking a lot of taxes out of our checks. So then when they begin to start taking more taxes, the first thing we're going to say is, hey, we're already getting a lot of taxes taken out, and our checks look mighty slim. So what is that going to do for those who are already living paycheck to paycheck, barely making it? It promotes the fear. It promotes fear in us. When they had the Oklahoma bombing, when they had the 9/11, when they had the tsunami in somebody give me when they had the tsunami in the Philippines, I think it was. In logic, I think if it was the Philippines, correct me on that. But that mass tsunami they had, they said that was a tsunami created. Need I say more? The tsunami was created. It wasn't a natural disaster. That tsunami that killed all of those people was a created tsunami. You feel me? When the storm came in Baton Rouge, when that storm hit Baton Rouge in Mississippi, when all of that happened and they blew up the levees. Yeah, they say that the water took the levees down, but they had people that said they heard the explosions that blew the levees. Right? They said they heard the explosions that blew the levees up, and bam. Weather warfare. Yep. Impressed, that's true. Weather warfare. If I would have not seen I would not have believed it if I hadn't seen some of how they composed those videos on YouTube and put them together and kind of opened our eyes. Even if it wasn't true, they have given us a awakening, and they gave us a reason to believe that this is something that we need to investigate. Put it like that. But now, after so many different monstrosities and so many different things that have happened, my eyes are well aware and well awakened to these are possibilities that these things are happening by our government and people that are trying to control the masses. Think about it. Wildfires in Cali. Impressed that. Hey, what's up, George Garcia? It's my man. What's good? Good to see you, bro. Peace to you and your family. I want to say season's greetings to all of y'all, man. Everybody in the chat. Everybody supporting Ace Corner Talk and Logic Food, Clothing, Shelter, and all of those that are supporting George Garcia's, everybody that supports Sean G's channel, Frontline, and Nehemiah Israel's channel. All of y'all, Caesar's greetings, man. One love from the Ace family. Yeah, that what you said, Impressed, that whole weather warfare, this stuff is becoming a reality. And if we don't wake our eyes up, if we don't look at the bigger picture, now they started with our families. Think about this. They started promoting fear with diseases. Okay, you got to get your children vaccinated. And then what they do, they put the stuff in the vaccination. Okay? They put the stuff in the vaccination. So they started saying, okay, if your children is not vaccinated, if you don't get these vaccinations, this is going to happen to your children, XYZ. So what do? They made it a mandated law that you get these vaccinations in order for your kids to go to school. right? So they promoted the fear. Chickenpox, measles, all of the diseases. They said, okay, now we got people coming from Mexico and all of these foreign, not foreign countries, but all of these other countries that are coming in now, coming in with diseases, and now they're coming into the school system with our kids. So what they're saying now is that you got to get these vaccinations or your kids are going to be at risk getting these diseases. Okay, fine. All right, cool. Now, they went from that. Then they went from, there's an epidemic with the AIDS. Okay, you're going to get AIDS this, you're going to get AIDS that, AIDS this, AIDS that. Then it went from that to syphilis. Then it went from that. Like, they used the disease thing from, that's been way the early 50s. They used the disease things first to control, right? Then they went from the disease, then they went from the fear, like, through warfare. Well, so which one came first? Was it warfare or was it the diseases? Because if you think about it, it might have been warfare first and then diseases. All right, cool. So it could have been warfare first, then diseases. However it goes, it's either or. It was either diseases first or the warfare first and then diseases. But by any event, then they came right down the pipeline, and now they're revamping the same thing that they did umpteen years ago. Half a century ago. They're doing the same thing now. So now they're just bringing the same tactics now. And now they're using it now through cyberbullying, cyber fear. Because they know the biggest way that they can, even before then, AIDS disease was part of the warfare. Facts. So I don't know which order it went in. I don't know if diseases came first or then the war, or was war first and then diseases. But by any event, they started now revamping and doing the same thing they did all those years ago. But now, think about it, they're using social media to promote it because they know that the mass majority of people are connected through social media. Right or wrong? George Garcia says kids can't have an education without vaccination. It's like we can't even raise our kids without the government having a hand in their life. That is so true. That is so true. One of my favorites is 1 Peter 2:17, hour of all men. And this is what Nehemiah says. Love thy brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. Or no more scriptures tonight. Nah, you good. But for the most part, even if there was a slim chance in hell that everybody was doing right in this life, even if, think about them still wanting to control us. See, the bigger picture. If there's not control, then how will they get us to labor for them? See, people think that we're laboring for us to have a better life, feed our family, feed our kids. No. We're laboring for the masses. Think about this. We're laboring for the elite. We're getting the crumbs that are left over. Because if things was fair and things was right, we'll be making what we should be making. We'll be living the way we should be living. Not controlled with so many taxes that it's hard for us to even get along or even make a decent wages without so much taxation coming out of our checks and coming every single year hitting us. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not actually working for ourselves. And we're not actually living our life the way we should be or the way we could be. Because we're working for them. Think about that. We're working for them. We're working for them. Make no mistake about it. Impressive social birth certificates and social security numbers keeps us slaves. And I do agree with that. Because what will be the reason why you need to have a number to track you? What will be the reason why you need that birth certificate to do just about everything you need to do in this life? And I do understand on some aspect people will steal your identity to be you. I mean, I understand that, but that also keeps us connected to them. So they can keep track of how much money you making. So they can keep track, because when you think about it, to be employed, you got to give your social security number. You got to have that identification so they can track you. So the IRS can track you. So they can see that, oh, you making money and you ain't paying taxes? Oh, you ain't putting money into the system? They need to have this number. They need to have everybody's number in their identification to track you down so they can get the money from you. You know, when people work under the table, when people start working under the table, what's up, your sweet place? Hey, no doubt, man, no doubt. One love to you. What's good with you? So when people are working under the table, that's the worst thing the government views when they see people working under the table, because they can't get that money from you. And the penalty, and they penalize people that work under the table if they find out. The penalty is steep, because they want you to put that money back into the system. And what they're doing is they're aiding and abetting that you will die before you can get any dime of the money back. That's why they keep raising the age of collecting Social Security. They're raising the age of that. So, okay, you used to be 55 to collect your Social Security. Now they put it was 55. Now then it was 60. Then now I think it's 65. So they keep upping the years that you're able to retire and collect full Social Security benefits. You feel me? Now, if you say you top out at 20 years, or say you top out, or say your top out if your government is 20, or then if you're regular corporate or whatever, it might be 30. Okay? And you're already in your 40s. You still got another 20 to go before you can even retire, or another 25 before you can even retire and collect anything. So by then, you can't even hang glide, mountain climb. If you're in your 70s, you basically just going to get a nice car, try to live paycheck to paycheck, and might go on a vacation or two. You really can't do too much. When you used to be a little younger, people retire in their 40s. Man, they still out there rocking and jamming. They retire in their 50s. They still got a life to them. They can do what they want to do. But now they upped it so high, you got a cane and a walker trying to do some things now. So they're aiding and abetting that you're going to die before you can collect anything. And I'm going to tell you the next reason why. It's because they don't even have the money. The money is loaned already. Your Social Security is loaned to banks. Your Social Security is tied up in banks. No doubt, your sweet place. So your Social Security is tied up into the bank system. You feel me? It's tied up and when you retire, they're aiding and abetting that you won't live to collect that money. You feel me? They're saying that, okay, you're not going to collect that money and you're not going to be able to spend the money, the Social Security. Some people get $2,000, some people get $3,000. If you're military, you might get $3,000 to $5,000, depending on how long you've been in. They want you to die before you can actually get that money. But think about this. That's why they're allowing so much diseases, cancer. Why do you think people are getting cancer at the rate that they're getting cancer? Because they're trying to promote they're trying to stop people, not promote, stop people from collecting Social Security or collecting any benefits. Think about this. When you get sick, when you get sick, when a lot of the insurance companies find out, they drop you. They don't keep you when you got terminal illnesses and stuff like that. They drop you like a bad cold. They'll hang on to you for a little while when you got cancer, but then say you got some internal illness and you fighting it, trying to live. Bam, they drop you. Or if they find out before they drop you that you got something and you're trying to get it, they won't give it to you. So then you got to go to some cut rate insurance company just to try to get insurance so you can live. You don't think that the government and those who've been put into place, they're not putting this cancer stuff out here? I've seen so many people die from cancer, man. They healthy one day, then 6 months later, they gone. They gone. And you like, how does that happen so quickly? Think about that. How does that happen so quickly when you're alive 1 minute and then bam, the next minute you're gone? You see what I'm saying? You can't tell me that this is not something that's being derived from the government. Why do you think they got so many scientist labs and NASA labs and all these different labs? What you think they doing in there? What you think? They're trying to find the next super cancer. You say that, and people giving to these places saying, oh, give to this cancer foundation to help cure cancer. What you think, they're really curing cancer? Or are they making a super cancer to kill more people? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because the more people that got cancer, the more people that have in terminal illnesses, the more the industry benefits. Because that's more medication, that's more pill popping, that's more things that they use to generate revenue. Why do you think these people are going to college for 4 and 8 years to get these degrees to work in these fields? It's because now they're using these things to generate more income. So yes, I think that when cancer and all of these different things begin to play a role in people's lives, you got to look. And it's hard to escape it. It's hard to escape it. It's hard to say that you may or may not get it because everybody's getting cancer. My wife just told me, Queen C was like, yeah, this little 8-year-old is on cancer, you know, and that she read it on Facebook. It's happening, man. And I'm even, and that's another fear. And I can't sit here and say, peace, Megalodon, my brother, peace to you. Megalodon been going hard in the paint, y'all. All right, peace to you. So think about this. When that cancer, when cancer hits you, the first thing you're going to do is get scared. I don't care who you are, because then you're associated with a death sentence. Oh, I got cancer, I'm going to die. That's the first thing that happens. And that's reality, y'all. That's a natural emotion for you to have. You understand what I'm saying? That's natural. So anybody that says, oh, I got cancer, don't think that, yeah, after the initial shock of you knowing you got it, then you'll go into beast mode and say, you know what? I'm not going to die from this. I shall live, or pray to God, or whatever you do. But the initial blunt of it, man, I got cancer, I'm going to die now. You know, you start writing your bucket list out. But think about it, y'all. These things is promoting so much fear. You know, some people, I'm not using no microwaves that give you cancer. I'm not using cell phones, give you cancer. I'm not doing this, give you cancer. But they're putting it in the foods like it was just said earlier in the chat. They're making it so it'll be obsolete for you to even escape it. They're making it hard for you to even escape it now. Excuse me, y'all. They're they're making it so that everything you do and how you maneuver in this life will be, the first reaction will be fear. It will be fear. They said, no, we ain't going to have no more 70s millenniums. We ain't going to have this no more. You know how the 70s, everybody was all carefree and smoking weed and doing what you want to do and live life as a... No, they said enough of that. We'll never have another time in life that's going to occur now. All of that's done. The government shut it down. You hear what I'm saying? The government shut it all down. They're saying that's not going to happen no more. We're not going to have hippies. You ain't burning flags no more. You ain't going to be free as you think you're going to be. You know, no. We shutting it all down. And that's exactly what they have started to do. We're talking about fear because we're all living it now. No longer can we look at other countries and say, man, look at Africa, look at Ethiopia, some of the poorer countries. Now, Africa's rich now. Africa is rich. Don't get me wrong. When I say Africa, let's go to the poor parts of Africa. But Africa is one of the richest countries out there. You understand? Some of the continents of Africa, they're rich. They have plenty of resources. But then think about those when you see the little kids on TV and they got bones and skeletons and they walking around with no clean water and all of this other stuff. Then when you look at that, then you can say, man, that's fear, man. Like, will it ever get like that for us? You see what I'm saying? Then you begin to say, look at some of these poorest countries. Look at how these things are taking place. When I was looking at with Saddam, I was looking at one of the old History Channel joints when they was talking about Saddam, how he was a dictator, how he had so much influence over the people, and they feared him. They feared him. They had so much control over Afghanistan people. And they had so much authority and fear in the people's lives. Like, they hated his guts because he had so much fear. He was a strong dictator. You did what he said. You couldn't pray at certain times. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. He even had control of their water system. You feel me? Control. Complete control. And when they got rid of him, that's when, you know, they ushered in what was his name? Gaddafi or whoever. They ushered in the next dictator. But it was all dictatorship. No, it wasn't Gaddafi. It was who was it? Who came after Saddam? Was it what's his name, son? Or whoever, man. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, so there's a very good documentary on Netflix. What's the Health? Powerful film. All right, we'll check it out. So you say it's on Netflix. All right, cool. It's called What's the Health? All right, cool. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, George Garcia says Saddam was the latest killed terrorist. Okay, well, actually, they killed Saddam, his sons. Then who was the next one that they killed? It was a couple of powerful ones. They said they killed. I don't know. They said they killed some of the children of some of these extremist terrorists, but I don't know. They said it did, but hey. And then Team SEAL Team 6 or whatever, Team 6, what were they called? You know what I'm talking about. The Team 6 that got killed. Mysteriously got killed in a plane crash. But those are the people who took out Saddam. Right? That's what they said. So they're promoting fear in so many different directions, right? So many different directions they're promoting fear. So many different directions. You can't move without noticing fear. You can't move without being scared of something. I mean, that's just the nature of it. You got people on vegan diets now. I ain't eating this. I ain't eating that. Why? Because there's fear. If you eat meat, if you eat this, if you eat that, if you eat this, then you'll get this, or you'll get that, or you'll die from this. You know, so many different things now that they're saying. Even the expectancy of your life has shortened now. When people used to live to 100, 110, and 105. Some people lived to 95. That now, you know, that right now, 95, living to 95 is pretty much 95 to 100. It's pretty much what it is. My grandmother died at 96, which was a year and a half ago, almost 2 years. And my other grandmother died last year. She was 105, right? So it's not out of this world or unexpected or not to be expected to live to 100. But now you got people checking out of here in 50s and 60s. You know, I think it's a little longer for females than it is for males. You got males checking out a little earlier than females. Whatever that's about. Don't get too happy, females. Breast cancer's on the rise, and I'm seeing that more often than it used to be. You feel me? Oh, no doubt. Your sweet place, she says, my great-grandmother died at 104. No doubt. Much respect. My condolences. But we're seeing now that it is possible to live a longer life. But now, think about the last 10 years or the last 15 years. I've seen so many people in my family members and people that are connected, that I know this person that died from cancer at rapid rates, man. Rapid rates. Now check this out. My Queen C's, her uncle, he died within 6 months from bone cancer. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. He came to my son. No. He was my son's, he's my youngest son's godfather, right? He was fine. He came to the house. We mingling. You know, we were talking, this and that and the third. And he died right before he can actually come to my son's first birthday. So within 6 months, he was gone. He drove trucks for a living. His foot was hurting one day. Went to the hospital. Oh, he got bone cancer. Cut his foot off. Cut part of his foot off. So within 6 months, completely gone, man. And I remember going into the hospital room, and I'm telling you, man, that is some of the most heartening things I've ever experienced, man. Having to see somebody go out like that when he was a strong dude, man. You know, stature-wise and mentally, he was strong in the mind. But then to see that happen, and to see how quickly it went down, it was so much fear. I was so scared because I'm like, how can somebody be so healthy on the outside, have the appearance of being healthy, but then just check out of here like that? And it wasn't something from somebody like shooting them or stabbing them or killing them or something like that. It wasn't a violent death or anything. It was something that happened from illness and stuff like that. So it really disturbed me. It was a lot of fear there. Because I said, man, if it can happen to him, that can happen to me. Oh, boy. I tell you, man. So these are things that we, Inquisitive Bunny, what's up? Peace to you, sis. So when we think about these type of events that happen, you know, when you think about how people are now checking out, when you think about the diagnosis, see, when people misdiagnose you, they're having you running around with fear. Think about when people diagnose you with a sickness. People got to go get a third and a fourth and a fifth opinion just to see if what the first diagnosis was correct. Have you ever heard of people saying, man, I don't believe that, man. I'm going to the doctor right now. I'm going to another one. I don't take what you say, doc. And then they're doing surgeries and cutting on you for something you may not even have. I've heard of things like that happening. I've heard, well, not somebody that I know, but I've watched TV and I've seen it there where people have got cut on and things, and it was nothing even wrong. I think there was a doctor that was misdiagnosing people and doing surgeries on them, and it was nothing wrong with these people. It's happening. It's happening. if they went in there and said, hey, we got to cut you up, man, I'm not going to take their first thing that what they say. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just going there just being like, okay, cut me open, doc, get me right. You know, it just ain't going to be that way. I'm gonna have to get some different opinions from some trusted people that been dealing with me for years, like, you know, whatever old folk doctors, and go back to that type of stuff. Like, whatever, man. You just ain't gonna cut on me before me getting some other opinions about what you say I got, because they're doing these things and there's not even nothing wrong with these people. My grandmother went in a hospital perfectly fine. She was having little heart attacks, whatever. But when she went in, I think they got it straight or whatever. But then all of a sudden, something else happened. Then this happened. Then she was gone in 3 days. That was my Mima. That was my grandmother, man. At 96 years old, she was out of here, man. You know, just a couple of months before that, she went to the doctor, and we was talking. And she said, the doctor said, I'll be living well into my hundreds. He said, I'm so healthy. And then all of a sudden, all of this happens. I was so upset, man, because how come she gets the report from the doctor and he says, you're healthy as it can be. You'll be living to your hundreds. You're well healthy. And then turn around and all of this happened to her. I tell you, man, that stuff like that, that's why... That's why, you know, when it comes to medical opinions and things like that, yes, I go to the doctors. Yes, I get checkups and I do all of that stuff. But I consult God first, as well as getting the opinions from the doctors. Like, I just don't be so willy-nilly to believe that every single thing that they say is going to be face value. Because just like you ought to pray when you go to the doctor, if they're going to do some type of surgery on you, you should be praying that God guides the doctor's hands. You should be praying something like that. I mean, if you don't, that's you. But I'm going to pray to the God that I believe in, that, hey, that you'll have enough to guide this doctor's hands and his heart and mind, that he ain't gonna screw me up. You go in to get a minor surgery, come out with no toes and no arms and no legs. I mean, come on. It's reality. These things happen. You go in there for something small and come out and it's totally different than what you went in. You know, you remember the little girl, y'all? The little girl that went in there to get a tooth pulled or a toothache? She goes into a coma. On life support for 2 years. I mean, these things are happening. And I think that once we actually open our eyes to this reality, it'll bring such an awareness that we shouldn't be scared. They should be scared of us, of retaliation. You understand what I'm saying? The mass people out there should be scared of what we would do to them, not what they are doing to us. When can we switch the narrative? Or when will it ever happen where we'll have enough power and enough people to say, we want to switch this narrative? Hey, Doc, when you going to do what you're doing to me, do know I got 100 family members that's gonna come at you. If you don't get me out of this, if you don't do what you're supposed to do the right way, it ain't no lawsuits. We got 100 family members in the lobby room waiting for me to come out. And if I don't come out right and you do something wrong, believe me, you might not make it out the hospital. How about that? They should fear us more than we're fearing them. You see what I'm saying? That narrative should change. That narrative should change. What's up, Logic? Logic says we control the true power. He says we control the true power. Yes, we do. But We can't act like it, because what happens? What I said earlier, what does the fear do? What does the fear do? The fear stops you and it demobilizes you. Fear stops you in your tracks. Fear, you cannot, it freezes you. You cannot move. You can't do anything. That's what happens when fear comes. So when we are in a state, when all of us, what's that, Sheena? How are you, sis? When all of us are in a state of demobilization, when we can't do nothing, when we can't walk, move, think, they got the upper hand. But when will we ever switch that narrative? When will we ever switch the narrative when we are not the ones that are stuck in our place, stuck to move, stuck to talk, stuck to say anything? When will we ever switch that narrative when we're the ones fighting back? When they're scared of us, not us scared of them. We should be in a place now when we say, you know what? Okay, you putting these taxes on us. You doing all of these things. But there better be something to counteract those taxes that you are enforcing federally. It better be some taxes within the states that are going to come down to balance it out. You see what I'm saying? Oh, y'all ain't going to do that? Okay. How about this? How about you have 1,000 people at the courthouse with picket signs and all kind of madness? I mean, something. I'm just giving you an example. But there should be something there to counteract what they're doing. Okay? So if they're saying, okay, if you're making less than 70 grand a year, you're going to be hit with a federal tax, and that doesn't apply to anybody that's over 70,000, then what, as we the people should be doing to counteract that they're putting into place? Okay, so if you're saying that, so we're going to do something like this. We're going to stop doing XYZ in order to force your hand to do something to counteract or balance out what you just have put into place. You see what I'm saying? That should be done by us. We have that power. If we all got together with the same mind, got together and said, we're not going to stand for that. We the people, we're going to come together and we're not going to support this or do that. We're going, look, if enough people said, as much as we love football and sports, if enough people said we're not supporting sports, we're not supporting none of that until you do something, and watch billions of dollars go down the drain for not supporting, don't you think those billionaires will start coming down on those when they start losing that money? Think about it, y'all. Think about that. When you start squeezing the pockets of those who got money, watch what happens. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And that's right, Megalodon. Fear of the Most High is the beginning of knowledge, but never fear man. Yeah, you know I'm into the word, so of course I live on that principle. So think about it. When you begin to think on that level, how can they stop us? How can they stop us? How can they stop the people that are out there? How can they stop us? They can't. They can't. The only way they're able to stop us is through fear. You take the fear away, it's a wrap. We got it. But the only way they can do it is through fear. They're controlling us through the fear. They're keeping us fed with a long spoon. How about that one? They got a long spoon feeding us. And that's how they're going to keep it. Unless we come together some way or another, start a trend, start a fad, start something that's going to put a counter-react to what they're doing. Are we being conditioned to fight, or are we being conditioned for flight? Which one is it? It's one or the other. I put my money or we're being conditioned to flight. Because they don't want us fighting. They don't want us fighting back. They want us fighting amongst each other, but they don't want us fighting against them. Think about it. They don't want us fighting against them. They don't want us fighting for what is naturally or should be ours. They don't want that. What they do want is they want you to shut up. They want you to take the punishment and try to live your life until you die. That's all they want. That's what they want from you. They don't want you to say nothing. They don't want you to react to anything else but trying to live a life to the best of your ability with the little means they give or allow, and then after that, die. But what happens when you try to move up in life? What happens when you try to gain in life? What happens when you try to motivate other people in life to move up? What happens to you? They'll try to stop you. They'll try to get rid of you. They'll try to destroy you. Make a mockery of you. You see, this is the game they play. This is the game that's being played. The tactics of fear. Fear is so strong. It's so strong of a force. It cripples, demobilizes, destroys. You feel me? Sean G. All right, no doubt, no doubt. 100, George Garcias. 100 flat. 100 flat. No doubt, no doubt. Your sweet place, you say fear gets confused with flight or fight or flight. Well, that's what they said, you know, in the definition of it. It's been associated and it's been used with fight or flight. So in fear, when it comes in the way that it does, when fear comes in the way that it does, it comes in the manner that it's supposed to stop you. Now remember what I said earlier, right? It's a chemical that's released into your body that causes the fear. So when you begin to think, and it's an emotion that comes first. So, but when the emotion of fear comes, then it releases a chemical in the abdullah or whatever up here in that brain, mind, and all that. It releases that chemical that triggers the reaction of fear. So when you counter-react something that promotes fear or something that arises in your life that you revere as something dangerous or something going to happen or whatever the case is, that promotes that chemical to be released into you. That promotes fear. Instinct versus fear. I like that. Oh, I'm sorry, your sweet place. She says no. That's fight or flight. True. Okay, you're agreeing. All right, no doubt. I believe that. And now that we see how much fear is being promoted into the people, into the masses, we're seeing it all over. Don't think that these things are not happening right under our nose and even right in our face. Oh, I'm sorry. If that's not fear, it was associated with it. So let me read what they had. All right. Let me read the definition. All right, let me get to all right. The fear response arises from the perception of danger, right? Leading to confrontation with or escape from avoiding the threat. And this is known as the fight or flight response. And so that's all I was saying. That's what the fight or flight thing derived from. So when we're looking at, excuse me, when we're looking at fear from the directions that it comes from, like I said, it can come from relationships. Women or men can control you through fear. It can come through your job. Jobs can control you through fear. If you don't do X, Y, Z, if you don't do this the way it should be done correctly, X, Y, Z, you're fired. Fear. It can come from government. If you don't pay these taxes, if you don't pay this, if you don't do X, Y, Z, pay the this, that, and the third, we're coming after your money. We're coming after your land. We're coming after your children. We're coming after everything you got. Fear. Let's even go to churches. Believe in God. Pay the money to your church. Do X, Y, Z. If you don't, you won't make it into heaven. Fear. I said it. There it is. Fear. So they're trying to cover all bases of fear in your life through every aspect. So they done hit your family, they done hit your job, they done hit your religion, they done every single thing you think about is derived and surrounded by fear, man. Everything, everything, every single thing they have hit. You understand? Everything they have hit and surrounded you with fear. Everything, man. Is nothing you can't look at today in this society and in this world and will not see fear surrounding it. No way, no shape, form, or fashion. And if there's an aspect or if there's a part that I said that I missed, put it in the chat. Or if there's something that I said that there's fears not associated with, put it in that chat. Because I want to know. But like I said, it's in family, religion, it's in schools, it's in schools, family, religion, government, jobs. It's in all of that stuff. So basically, they made it so at any given time when they want to promote control, right? When they want to promote that control, then they'll do something to promote fear. Now, when you talk about babies, babies have fear. If you yell at a baby, a baby will cry. If you say, ah, a baby will begin to cry. Why? Because they're scared. They don't know what fear is, but they know the actions of what you just did in some way or another. Remember what I said? The chemical is released. So even a baby, if you just say, ah, and they're a little baby, it's the chemical is released that's going to promote fear. So it's not necessarily how can I put it? So if you scare a child that's 5 months old, right? Ah! And they begin to cry. The chemical was released to produce the fear in them. So it really doesn't have any age limit about it. You can do something to scare you can do something to scare a infant or a child and they'll begin to cry. And they may not know nothing about fear. You see what I'm saying? That's how easily it is to control. And that's how easily it is to promote fear. That's why it's so heavily used in every aspect of control. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's so heavily used, because once they begin to promote fear, the chain of effect, the snowball effect behind it, it's hard. The momentum is hard to stop. What they used to do back in the day in slavery, what they used to do, they used to take the strong man, make him sleep with his mother, they'll rape him in front of his wife and kids. Why? Why would they do that, y'all? Think about that. Why would they do that type of stuff? That was so they could promote fear. They could promote fear, y'all. They will take that strong man, they will rape him in front of his kids, castrate him, cut his head off, sending a message to the other slave that, look, you do something, that's what's going to happen to you. And what happened? Yes, a boss. We's about to get in that field. We's about to go till the field. It put so much fear into them not to do nothing because they said, oh, I just seen Johnny over there get his head cut off. I just seen Joe over there get his balls ripped off. And I just seen somebody rape my kids and daughters. I'm going to chill and I'm going to pick this cotton and tobacco and everything else they asked me to do. Fear. That's fear. And I can't even say if I was in that position what I would do. You can say, yeah, I'm going to die and I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to die for mine. But if they got you and they slowly killing you and slowly torturing you, who's to say what you going to say? I'm not on this YouTube to be no Billy, no Billy Bad and talk, hey, man, if they have me and I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to talk. I ain't going to sit and talk foolish like that because I can't tell you what I do because I don't know. If they slowly torturing you, it ain't no telling what you'll do. People say because it ain't happening to them, but it ain't no telling what you'll do. You'll be up there saying all kind of stuff and doing all kind of stuff. That's just the reality of it, When you see things happen traumatically, it changes your life. It changes your perception. How you perceive things, how you take things in, how you process it. The fear plays a major part in those things in your life. I was watching a YouTube clip one day, and I seen the guy, it was probably a long time ago, he got out taking pictures of lions and stuff. Bam! Tried to get a little close and tried to run around the car, and a pack of lions just jumped right on the man. Ate him and was eating his insides, man. Went right for his stomach, just started. And they showed it on YouTube. Was just eating that man, white man, eating him inside out. Man, I immediately fear came over me just watching that. Like he was being ate alive by a pack of lions, man. They just went right for his stomach. Because you could see him, you could see where the lions were just sniffing him. They had him, they was holding him down, right? Had him pinned down, had the man pinned down. And you could see them sniffing around his chest in midair and they just begin to bite chunks out of his stomach. I was like, I seen it, I was like, fear came over me. Because what happened? I can imagine that. That's something you see with your live eyes and you're imagining that this can actually happen to you. If you was dumb enough to get out of a car and walk around trying to take pictures of a lion. I'm just saying. The fear. That fear. Yeah, true, Garcias. Hey, true, my man. Yeah, there's a lot of bigots out there, man. I say this, and I say it with much compassion, and I say it with much emotion. What we see today is the fall of man. What we're seeing today is the very fall of man. People don't understand that man is falling, vastly falling quickly. We're seeing the fall of man right before our eyes. When they say before things can get better, it gets worse. I don't even know if I believe that anymore. all I could do at this point in time of my life is just trust God to no end. Everything else that happens, it just is what it is. What I'm seeing now and the way things are happening now in this lifetime, the things I've actually seen with my own eyes and the things that I'm actually hearing, I'm talking about physically seeing and then hearing and then watching on TV, the things that it's just no end. It's just no end to what will or will not happen. You used to could say, man, oh man, that ain't gonna happen. And then these things happen. Now you really didn't hear too many times people getting killed for Jordans. That was like back in the day stuff. Now it's still happening right here and right now. You see what I'm saying? Like it's happening in the here and the now. Like, yeah, maybe back in the 90s and the early 2000s maybe, but here it is, 2017, people are still getting killed for sneakers? Like a human life is not even valued. People have no fear for a human life. No fear for no human life. This is what we're living in, and this is our reality. This is how we're being viewed as livestock getting ready for the slaughter. Can you imagine before that that cow or pig or whoever gets ready to get slaughtered, what they're actually sitting there looking at? Some other ones getting taken off slaughtered, putting fear into them. They put blinders on most of the animals so they don't get scared before they kill them. Because so much fear of seeing the other animals getting killed gets them wild up and gets them doing crazy. So what they do, they blindfold the animals before they actually kill them. Or they put blinders on them so they won't be so wild from fear. Don't you know this? This is a fact. I'm going to give you a true fact. The smell of death from sharks allows other sharks won't go near the smell of death. So if there is a shark that have died, they won't go around a dead shark. They had took I was watching the documentary, and I like stuff like that. I was watching the documentary. They had took something out of the shark that was like the death out of the shark. Like, and they put it into and they put it in the water around a swarm of sharks. And I'm telling you, within minutes, them sharks was gone. It was an experiment they did. So whatever they took out of that shark was the smell of death to them. And they put it, and they had it in something. They put it in the water, and all of those sharks took off. I mean, it was gone. So whatever it was to them, it was fear of death. So whatever they took out of that shark, they put it in that water, and them sharks was gone. And I actually think they have it in a can, so if you're swimming in the ocean or something, and there's a swarm of sharks or whatever, you can release it, and it gets rid of the, the sharks will move away or whatever. But that's much like what it is today. Blackfish documentary. See, me and Inquisitive, we here. Inquisitive Bunny, we here, right here. You see, that's what, yep, Blackfish documentary. I love that stuff, man. I'll sit for hours and watch that. So, yeah, we here. We here with it. So, this is a reality, man. George Garcia said, yes, I always say when our elders and grandparents and parents are everything that was great about humans, it will be gone with them. That's true. Everything that was great about our ancestors and grandmothers and grandparents, they had the knowledge. You know, when my grandmother passed away, she died with so much knowledge, man, and so much history and so much facts, man. Like, God, being around her, and when she taught and when she told you things, you felt it. because it was coming from realness. You see what I'm saying? Like when she talked or said something or gave you recipes or talked about when she used to work in hotels and when she used to, you know, how she grew up and all that, like you will be captivated by just her talking because it was the experience in it. You feel me? And that's what we'll be doing to our kids and our great grands and grands and all of that. We'll be doing the same thing. What we're going through now, what we're experiencing now, what we're hearing and seeing and now, we'll be passing that down to our lineage and to our, you know, our families and our grands and great grands and stuff. If we ever make it, we'll be passing that down to them. And I remember this, and I remember that, and this is how it was, and this is who was great, and this is who had all of these billions and died, and this is how this happened. We'll be passing every bit of that down. And I remember we was on a live stream one night, and we was going at it, and we was talking about XYZ, and now look at it come into play. We will be reflecting off of these things when we get older. When we get to the point where we can't walk, see, whatever, we'll be passing this history down. You know? We'll be passing it down. And I agree with you, your sweet place. Elderly people have so much history, so much richness to them. You're blessed when you bless elders. You're blessed when you are kind and do things for elderly people, man. You're very much blessed when you cater to the elders and those who have lived a life and superseded, you know, the average. You know, the Bible says when you're in your seasoned age, in its scriptures, but I'm not quoting the very scripture, but I'm just giving you parts of it. But when you're in your seasoned age, that's a sign of being blessed. You're blessed when you have seen a certain age. You know, but yeah, I wasn't going to stay on too long. I was kind of hoping that Logic was going to be in here with me, but we're going to go, you know, me and Logic, we've been trying to, it's just been conflicting of schedules. That's all. But we coming back, y'all. Me and Logic going to get back on back on schedule, right? So he just had an emergency today. And I was talking with him, and at the last minute, I think by now he might be all right. So, you know, got my brother in his thoughts, and I just wanted to say before I end this live stream, you know, we trying to yeah, no doubt, Megalodon, peace to you, my brother. So before we end the live stream, I just wanted to say, man, y'all be safe out here. You know, this is the holidays. You know, people out here robbing, stealing, killing, and doing all kind of crazy madness. Even if you don't support, or even if you don't celebrate Christmas or anything, still be safe, because this is the season where this activities of thieves and the activity of people who are out there being mischievous. This is the season where it's high. You feel me? You know, people out there doing all kind of madness. So I just I'm gonna keep all of y'all in my thoughts, man. And I just want y'all to be safe. You know, make sure that y'all y'all you know, keep your eyes open, and don't you know, if you're gonna be in areas, make sure you got people with you. You know, make sure that you know, you're aware of your surroundings, you know, because it's dangerous out here, people. It's dangerous out here, and it's actually, you know, it's not really safe to be alone shopping. It's not safe to actually be out there amongst people without at least somebody with you, you know. And so definitely be safe, you know, definitely, you know, keep yourself out of harm's way. And so today we was talking about fear, right? And we was just getting and hitting on some points about fear. So I want all of y'all to just reflect back on some of what we talked about, man. Think about it. This fear. Think about this fear. Think about how fear crippleizes us. And if we ever could do anything, let's see if we can change the narrative and switch it around. I don't know. I'm just one man. I'm just one man, one channel. I'm not saying I have the answers, and I'm saying that I can do it. But I think that if we all come together in some way, shape, form, or fashion and put something together, compose a way as a collective, we might see small results that can be giant results. But I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate all of you I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. I appreciate all of y'all, you know, being a part of the live stream. You know, today it's just a day where we look back and we just see how things have happened. You know, as we getting closer to the ending of this year, there might be people that might not make it. I pray for y'all families. I pray for y'all well-being. I pray for a positive new year. I pray that everyone in their right mind. I pray that, you know, everybody, you know, just continues to strive, man, for whatever you're striving for, to do your best, whatever it is. I just pray that all of y'all make it to where you trying to be at in this new up and coming year. Pray that your journey continues to be as prosperous as you set forth for it to be. I appreciate everybody in this live stream today. You know, it's all love from the Ace family. You know, it's all love from me to you. Bro Logic, man, peace to you. But we're going to be back with some headbanging stuff. I appreciate y'all all supporting. I appreciate all of y'all engaging in the chat and so forth. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love, man. Nothing but love. And I'm sorry that, you know, like I said, my job had me going. So the times that I can jump in, I'm going to be in. All right, y'all? So I appreciate y'all tuning in. So Aces give much love to you. Queen C gives much love to you. And I'm definitely going to be tuning in to some live streams when I can. All right, y'all? So thank you. I thank you much for being a part of this live stream. But we're talking about fear. So are we being conditioned to fight or being conditioned to flight? You know, that's the only two options that I've seen in the upcoming years. You feel me? Hey, Logic, they coming for you, bro. They coming for you. All hugs. All hugs. Yo, Sweet Place, all hugs, y'all. Inquisitive Bunny, all hugs, y'all. All hugs, y'all. All right? One love. Ace Boogie's out.